Welcome back, guys, to another insanely fun episode of BarQuest. I'm your host, Seth Payne. Here today, thank you. Here today with the man himself, the hustler of Chicago, the one and only TJ Sopoci, everybody.
Guys, thanks for having me, Seth. Pleasure to be here.
Yeah, man. So very excited to have you on this episode. We're on our second season. Was actually just hanging out with your buddy Daryl Monty last episode. Tell the people at home where we are first, and then just tell a little bit about yourself, how you got to Chicago, and a quick little
Sure.
history.
Should I be looking at the camera?
For sure.
Okay, fantastic. So we right now are at Sportsman's Club. I think this is Ukrainian Village. It's right off Western. One of the coolest bars in the city. They call it a dive bar. You look around, it's at least dive adjacent.
Yeah.
It's decorated nicely, but it's dark. The prices are crazy. The vibes are impeccable. It's just like a really cool spot. If you're in the city, it's like you can't recommend it enough. And then as far as who I am, like Seth said, I'm TJ Sopoci. I'm a comic, a photographer, a podcaster, I'm a documentary filmmaker, a musician. It's proof just that if you are a mediocre white dude, you can do literally almost anything.
Oh yeah. How did you grow up in Chicago?
I did.
Okay.
I did, yeah. Actually, born and raised like 6 blocks away from the Lincoln Lodge. So
okay.
Right at the corner of Armitage and Richmond there, and then spent my entire life just shuffling back and forth between the city and the burbs. But I think I'm biased, but I think I can confidently say that it is the best large American city by a pretty wide margin.
Hell yeah. Love the city. When did you get into comedy?
So I've been doing comedy for about 5 years. I actually had a podcast, like, I know, surprise, right? Just a random podcast, another dude talking into a mic, here we are. But I had a podcast that I started kind of funnily with a woman that I met on Bumble.
Oh, wow, okay.
She had previously written a dating column for the Huffington Post.
Okay.
And very early in our attempt at dating, like a couple dates in, mutual non-interest, and we maintained a friendship.
Nice.
And then, yeah, I mean, when you see value in other people beyond like the romantic, I think that says a lot. So we started this friendship, and we had a couple friends in comedy who worked at WGN.
Okay.
And one night a group of us were out to dinner, and someone was just talking about WGN's new podcast network, and she was like, "Hey, we're gonna kick around this idea of like 30-something singles like dating podcast."
Okay.
And so Jen and I just kind of like grabbed this idea and ran with it. For 3 years, we had a podcast. Listeners in 60 countries, was definitely like one of the more popular podcasts in the city. And through that, I made a lot of relationships in comedy, and that was honestly like my entry point into doing stand-up.
That's an awesome hack, or I guess, I don't know, a good tip, because I did the same thing in DC.
Okay.
What was the name of your podcast first?
Menage-A-Pod, a comedy podcast about sex, dating, and relationships.
Love it. Is it on all platforms? Or
You can literally get it everywhere. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, it's everywhere.
Well, there's a little plug. I did the same thing in DC when I started comedy. It's called Comedic Pursuits. Check it out. Another great podcast. And eventually it led me to interviewing Dane Cook.
You interviewed Dane Cook? Oh, that's
who was
incredible.
coming through on a tour. I did not think it. I thought I was getting like Impractical Joker, or like somebody was razzing me. It was Dane Cook. It was pretty rad. And then he let me come and see him on his tour in Chicago, because I was like moving right when I interviewed him.
Okay.
And again, I didn't believe that he would let me come see him for free at the Chicago Theater. He did, and I got to meet him after the show, like 2 days into moving.
I think your adoring audience has a question. It's probably the same question I have.
Sure.
How do we feel about Dane Cook now?
So, it's a tough question, because I was really inspired.
But is it though?
I mean,
now,
no.
Okay, and you have,
no.
There's like, you have skin in the game. You're like, you have a formative memory of this man.
Yeah.
I mean, I get
yeah,
it.
of course. And that interview was awesome. Now, I did the interview before I discovered he was dating like an 18.
Yeah, I think he was interacting with her social media.
Yeah.
As far back as her being 16.
Yeah. See, that's no good. I'm not a fan of that.
Straight to jail, Dane Cook.
But his comedy was a huge influence on me early on. So Yeah, it was a little weird. His girlfriend was there when I went there.
The young one?
Yeah, she was just on her phone, clicking away, and I was like, "This is weird."
I don't know. I can't speak for the audience, but for myself, and I just touched the mic. That's going to sound like shit. But for myself, I can say you are already a better comedian than Dane Cook.
Wow.
Granted, that's a very low bar, but you are substantially better than Dane Cook.
Damn, shots fired.
Dane Cook catching strays and
Hey, man.
BarQuest with Seth Payne.
Let's go. Well, that's crazy. So that's if you wanna find a way to meet a bunch of comedians in the scene, start a podcast. There you go. I mean, the world needs another podcast, right?
You know,
Jesus Christ.
what
Why
they-
am I doing this?
Maybe this is a hack
Saturating the shit out of this.
Maybe this is a hack idea.
Yeah.
But I think we're in a time of unprecedented inflation, at least for our lifespans. Why has inflation not hit podcasting like equipment? A microphone should be $1,000.
Yeah.
That would cut down if you make the barrier to entry to podcasting.
Yeah.
Microphone $1,000,
Yeah.
camera $10,000, audio interface $30,000.
That's true.
You would really. But then the downside of this is then you would just have like rich dudes podcasting.
Yeah, that's the problem. Is that
Okay.
yeah? So you had me at first, but now
Okay.
then it's just fucking Elon Musk and Amazon Prime guys hanging out.
Amazon Prime guy.
Bezos.
Wouldn't that be great if Bezos was a superhero and his superhero character was Amazon Prime guy?
He looks like a supervillain for sure.
I mean, Lex Luthor for
He
sure.
is a supervillain.
No matter how much like Botox and filler he gets in, he's still.
I have an image, and I'll put it over this episode of him having fun. I think Bob Keane posted it again recently. I had seen it before, but it was like him in like Vegas with some hot girl wearing like the cheesiest Elvis shades and like a bad shirt. He's like, "I'm living the life," and you're like, "Dude, what is your image of living the life?"
Did you see? I don't know if you caught this at the Oscars. He attended with his second wife.
I did not see that.
Who is a beautiful woman, but has had a lot of work done.
Yeah.
And they did a photo with Sofia Vergara, Sydney Sweeney, and one other just like absolute like star of this era.
Yeah.
And the photo is so ruined by the presence of Jeff Bezos'
Jeff
wife.
Bezos,
Yeah.
what are you doing, dude? Get him out of here.
He just looks like he's just standing there with his bald head like a dick in the yard, just erect in the middle of these gorgeous women.
Yeah, that's an offense, brother.
It is.
Okay, so we went off the track slow there, but that's what happens, man. We're loosey-goosey. We're here at the Sportsman Bar. Sportsman Club.
Yes.
Excuse me. I've been here once before. This place is fantastic. You described the aesthetic very well. We've got a bunch of different, it almost seems like, daily cocktails, great beer list. It's got that old school behind the bar look to it. Like Shuba's has this. A lot of like old school taverns and bars in Chicago have this look.
Well, this bar is unique in that for several reasons, honestly. Okay, first of all, it's a dive bar, but it isn't. It's like cheap, but it's not. It has like cool drinks, but you can also get a PBR. The people that work here are cool. I knew a guy named Seth who worked here for quite some time. He also worked at Mother's Ruin. He's since relocated out of state.
Okay.
Like, great dude.
We love Seth.
Seth is like a legend. YouTube legend. But beyond that, what they can't see right now is on the other end of the bar, there's a very large, like, reel-to-reel, like, audio player.
Yeah.
Where they play reel-to-reel audio.
Oh, shit.
And it's not always the source of audio here. They both do streaming and vinyls and whatever.
Yeah.
But this reel-to-reel thing is a big part of it, and it looks so fucking cool.
Okay.
So beyond having that, then it's, like, one of the best beer gardens in the city. They're outside. And
I haven't even checked out the beer garden. I like peeked at it as I was coming in.
let me just tell you, in the summer, they do a summertime cookout series that features some of the best restaurants in the city.
Okay.
And I know, like, looking at your phone is bad podcasting.
Oh, good.
But I had a list of the ones they did last year, and I'm just going to grab some of the top.
Do it.
Le Bouchon, Zaragoza and Friends, which is Barreria Zaragoza up in Maxwell's Trading, that new place in West Loop, one of the best restaurants in the city. Me Takaya, literally one of only 3 restaurants in Chicago to make the USA Today Best 100 in the U.S. 5 Rabanitos, Rosemary, Boonies, Boof House. So every Sunday, bro.
Literally a block from here.
Dude, every Sunday, they focus on Ukrainian Village restaurants broadly, and every Sunday in the beer garden, they do a cookout, and when they open at 4, people are lined up for that shit. And then on Saturdays, throughout the summer, they do a Natty's and Patty's pop-up. So they grill smash burgers and sell natural wine. They have a natural wine vendor come in for Natty's and Patty's. It is... The last 3 summers, I have spent so many weekend days in the back of it. It's the first day. So many first dates.
All right.
I've made out on that patio 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, at least 5 times.
Damn, dude.
And honestly, probably more. And if you're watching it, I made out with you too here. It's just cool. The vibes are impeccable. I've never had a bad time here. What else is there to say?
Live DJs. They do
live DJs.
You can kind of see it here, but there's chess. What do you call it? Chess tables.
Checkers, yeah.
Chess or checker table. I played. First time I came here, came with a buddy. We did Wolf House, his treat, which was awesome. He works at Google. Shout out to Eric Gray.
Seth had to pay him with his butthole.
Pretty much. Just friendship. He's a good friend to have. And then we came here and played chess, and he's very good at it. And I was pretty buzzed and fully satisfied from the meal. And I just acted like I knew what I was doing.
Okay.
I know how to play chess. I have no strategy.
You're just not like advanced level.
No.
Okay.
It's like I know what to do, and I just act like I know what I'm doing. And I just remember being happily full and buzzed, and the music out here. So good memories. Good memory, and
Can I make an appeal to the audience?
Yeah, of course.
That if there is a gentleman or lady out there that would like to take me to Boof House, and then here to play chess and to buy me espresso martinis,
I mean,
let's help each other.
Come on. It's a community, folks. Let's go. Let's talk about the drinks that we're having. What did you choose?
Okay, so I got the espresso martini. Funny story, the woman that introduced me to this bar is someone I dated for on and off for like 3 years.
Okay.
And one of her recurring, I'm not a huge drinker, and my palate is weird.
Okay.
Like, for instance, starting my night with espresso martinis, whenever I would have them, she'd always say, that's an after dinner drink, that's an end of the night drink. And I'm just like...
Espresso martinis, end of the night drink?
Well, like after dinner. Like, it's more like a dessert drink. I mean, I don't know. She doesn't know fun.
I mean...
Tip of there's a reason why she's my ex-girlfriend. Tip of 40. But I love an espresso martini.
Yeah.
And in my...
I feel like it gets the night going.
It does. And, dude, it gets the night going. There have been nights where it's all I've drank.
Whoa.
I recently came here with my friend Jen, who lives in Florida. The last time she came back into town, I brought her here. And I had 6 of these.
Dude, you're already a fast talker.
I don't know what you're talking about, Seth.
I can't imagine you after 6 espresso martinis.
And this is why I've never done cocaine. I'd be like running through the front door of Sportsman's Club like a Kool-Aid man. Oh yeah! I think that was Dane Cook. That felt Dane Cookie.
That felt Dane Cookie.
Yeah,
That's a good call.
Not to be confused with Crumble Cookie. I don't know.
Yeah, shout out to Crumble Cookie.
But yeah, so drinking this espresso martini, and here in my quest to find like the best espresso martinis in the city, I firmly believe I find this to be one of the best 5. And what's cool about it is it's like a little different. There's like a liqueur like Cynar, C-Y-N-A-R, I think that's how it's pronounced. There's that in there which gives it like a nice balanced bitterness that's interesting. But also they use like locally roasted coffee, and then each month they pick a charity that they donate to, and this month they're donating to Doctors Without Borders. So I believe $2 of every espresso martini this month they donate to Doctors Without Borders. So we love that.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah.
It's going towards a good cause. I'm drinking this is a daily cocktail, by the way, that I'm looking at. It's the Shaken Mezcal Blood Orange Great Line. Great. Hey, cheers. It's fantastic. I love a good Mezcal mixed drink. We got offered free Jack Daniels drinks by a random rep at the bar.
Was it Addison?
Oh, was it Addison?
Was that her name? I don't remember.
I forgot. I thought you were saying. I was like, wait, not Jack Daniels? Another whiskey? That shows how much whiskey I drink.
Is it going to be weird if I walk up to a woman that we had a 5-minute conversation with and say, hey, I'm sorry, what was your name again?
I mean, she's dishing out free drinks. I think she'll like it.
Cool.
Okay, so, favorite memory. I mean, you kind of already said a couple. Well, you made out with a lot of people.
I have made out with a lot of people here.
Yeah.
I actually had a woman, I came here on a first date, and I was unsure how I felt about her, and she cornered me for the kiss. And then I was like, okay, well now I feel great about her, so that was cool. But if I really wanted to name the best memory, I came here on a Saturday. It was the first day we realized that Natties and Patties was a thing. I actually came with my ex-girlfriend and 2 others of our friends, and we stayed out back for like 5 hours.
Dang.
Drank like 7 bottles of natural wine, had like 2 smash burgers, just
posted up.
And it was like a 80-degree midsummer day. And it was like just enough shade to be comfortable, but just enough sun to like make you realize it's summertime in Chicago.
That's awesome.
Hell yeah.
You're getting me pumped.
Dude, this place rocks.
It's great. And I will say we're here on a very cold and drizzly March day.
It actually snowed a little earlier.
It did snow earlier, Jesus. But the summertime is coming, thank God. Okay, I had 2 other real quick bonus questions I wanted to ask you before we have you wrap this bad boy up.
Okay.
These are new ones.
Okay.
We're trying them out, but I feel like we're grooving, we're vibing.
Someone walked past us and they smelled very good.
They did. I thought it was.
It's lingering and it's an intoxicating aroma.
It's hitting us on all senses.
I can't wait to see how insane I look. Like I'm mostly looking at you, and when I look over there, it's like
I know it's weird. I don't know. We're figuring it out. Thank you for watching. Oh yeah. Okay, so do you have you've been in Chicago your whole life. Do you have a hot bar take? Like a quick hot bar take?
A quick hot bar take.
Either something.
This isn't even that hot, but
yeah.
Federales is dog shit.
Okay.
Federales in West Loop. That is the epicenter of just like douchebaggery and insufferability.
It's pretty
and like as someone, like I said, I was like born in Logan Square.
Yeah.
Or Palmer Square, but now they call Logan Square because real estate.
Yeah.
The fact that there is now a Federales in Logan Square feels like a fucking crime against humanity.
Yeah.
I drive by and like I'm physically repulsed. And don't get me wrong, I get when you look at me, I look more West Loop than Logan Square, but I'm Logan Square. Fuck West Loop.
Yeah. Is it still all the same people from West Loop in there?
Yeah, mostly.
It's crazy.
And bro, Logan Square is like of the kind of hipstery neighborhoods that have like been quite gentrified.
Yeah.
Logan Square is still like 40% like Hispanic Latino.
Okay.
And so serving those god awful awful crimes of tacos to like legitimate, authentic, like Hispanic Latino people, they don't want that. They don't want that.
Should be locked in.
I wish I had 2 extra hands so I could give Federales 4 thumbs down.
It's gonna be really funny when like another comic's like, can we do Federales?
There is nobody in Chicago comedy unless they are like a cocaine dealer who works in finance. Or they are like a 24-year-old girl who just moved here from like Oklahoma.
Yeah.
That are the only 2 people that could potentially want to go to Federales.
You're right. We'll see. And then my other bonus question that we're trying out is, what's something this past year that you've done in your own life, either you've discovered or you've made a change that has like drastically changed your life?
Okay, so as someone who
last couple years.
Yeah, I mean, last year was great. Like, I'll just focus on the last like 4 months.
Sure.
I have been a working photographer and videographer as like a side hustle for about 5 to 6 years now. And I've always, with photography, I've pursued so many creative projects, and I've done like interesting things with various models, and I've had friends working on stuff, and I've shot clothing brands. In the last year, I actually had my clothing photography in British GQ, which was like a really big win.
Awesome.
But the thing that I've been most excited about is like video work, and instead of just like, hey, I'm holding a camera and pointing at some people who are doing a thing, I wanted to start doing like meaningful filmmaking.
Hell yeah.
And I had ideated some short films and some documentary projects, and in the last 4 months, 2 of them in particular have like gotten off the ground.
Nice.
And we're in production on 2 projects. One, kind of nice crossover since we're doing this. One is like about a particular bar in Chicago within the framework of like dive bar culture, and this cool story that like the role that dive bars play as these like third spaces within neighborhoods as just this community area, but then also like the cool story of this of Skylark and Pilsen and what they've gone through the last couple years. And then the other one is a documentary on a home chef named Billy Zuricott, who has a rare form of muscular dystrophy called lamb-girdle muscular dystrophy. And he worked in like sports media, like ESPN radio, for most of his career. He was like an athletic dude. And in the last handful of years, as he started to deal with his diagnosis, he was like, how can I express myself creatively? And he got into like home chefing and home cooking. And through that, he started doing pop-ups with like some of the biggest restaurants and most famous chefs in Chicago. All of it with the profits going to the Muscular Dystrophy Association. And I've met him personally. I know him not super well, but we're certainly like friend adjacent. We have some close friends in common. And he did recently a pop-up where he made a Derrick Rose chopped cheese. So like to the marriage of New York and Chicago culture, he presented one to Derrick Rose, got to go to the game as a guest of the Muscular Dystrophy Association.
Amazing.
And I hung out with him for a bit that morning, and we talked about this project, and we talked about some struggles that I've had that he, like, just similarities, and just such kindred spirits. We talked like 20 minutes in the middle of this restaurant, like, embraced at the end, and just said, hey, we're going to collaborate on something, we've got to. Like, we're just, like, kindred spirits. And so I spent about a month thinking about, like, what we could do, and I had this other documentary project that I was starting to push off, and I was like, hey, this is a cool story, this is a cool guy, and some of the most interesting and influential people in the Chicago culinary world have entered his sphere. And there is so much meat on that bone, and I'm so excited to tell people about it.
Rules. So just kind of to summarize that, just focusing more on video, or I guess just a project that you have a lot more passion behind.
Shifting my creative spirit to narrative work. Whether that is fiction, short films, whether that is narrative, story-driven documentary projects. I'm at a point in my life where I have the time, I have the drive. I know a lot of people like you who have unique talents in that realm. And I just thought, man, there is no better time to filter my energy and my creative passion into something that not only will like fulfill me in that way, but that will also like give the world stories that I think will resonate, that people will care about.
Hell yeah. Love it. Cheers to that.
Cheers, brother.
Hell yeah. Well, we're coming to the end here. If you want to plug, obviously you've kind of plugged a project that you're working on, a couple projects already. If you want to plug anything else, Instagram, all that good stuff.
So, as I mentioned, I'm working on not one but 2 documentary projects. One is about Skylark and Pilsen, one is about Chef Billy Z. I'm also co-producing a show at the Lincoln Lodge called Class with Chad and Sara. Look that up on Instagram. You can follow me on Instagram at TJ Sopoci, Sopoci. And that's pretty much it, man. I appreciate the time, Seth. Love being here, man. And before we wrap up, I just want to thank you for so much, all you do for the scene. You put on so many shows. You have like such a network of people who like really like you and respect you. And that helps you journey through comedy, but you're also like a great joke writer and just a good a good comedian. And I am glad to call you my friend. So thanks so much, dude.
I really appreciate that. Before we sign off, TJ, you've been amazing throughout this experience I've had in Chicago. It's very evident that you're crazy involved in the scene. I don't know, I'm always seeing you posting about stuff. A lot of times it's about crazy shit that's going on, but at the same time you're also posting about hey, giving hacks to people or letting people know do it this way and this way. So you're always offering help up. You're very funny. I always have a blast seeing you perform on stage. You
and in the bedroom. He's seen it once or twice.
All right. You asked me to freelance film. That was just trying to make a buck, guys. But no, you are hysterical, and you as well are an amazing part of the scene here. And everybody loves you, man. So hell yeah! Thank you, TJ. Thanks for bringing me to this amazing bar. It's been another episode of BarQuest. Stay tuned till the next one. See you.
Cheers.
Yeah. Hell yeah.